Today we are going to be using a spreadsheet to create a scatter plot graph. And so we're going to use the data that we got in lab today, which was our gauge pressure, which is in column A, and then our syringe volume, which is in column C. Now I went ahead and I also added in the total pressure, which is in column B, and the inverse of volume, which is in column D. You are also going to want to go ahead and add your units. So your gauge pressure will be in PSIs. Your total pressure will be in PSIs as well. Your syringe volume was in milliliters. And the inverse of volume is 1 over V. So go ahead and type in your gauge pressure as well as your syringe volume. And then to find your total pressure, you should have taken a reading of the barometer in class, which would have given you the atmospheric pressure. Now you will have to convert that from millimeters of mercury to PSIs. So when I read the barometer, I got that it was 14.8 PSIs. And so I need to add that to each of my gauge readings. So I'm going to hit the equal sign. I'm going to type in 14.8, then I'm going to hit the add symbol and select the gauge pressure that I want to add that to. Then hit enter. From there I'm going to click back on that total pressure, and I could type that in each time, or if you hover over this blue box until you get this plus symbol, then you can drag that down. That is called Smart Fill, and that tells the spreadsheet that you want that formula or that equation that you used in that first row all the way down. So now we're going to do that for the inverse of volume as well. So we're going to hit the equal sign. So inverse of volume is 1 over the volume, so we're going to type in 1 over or backslash the volume, which was our syringe volume, and then we will hit enter. So we want that for each volume, so we're going to click back on that first box and we're going to smart fill that down. So now that we have our data, we can create our scatter plots. So we will have two different scatter plot graphs. The first one that we're going to create is our gauge pressure versus our syringe volume. So we are going to click on the A here, which is column A. We're going to hold down the control key and select column C. So now that you can see that we have column A and column C, which is our gauge pressure and our syringe volume, those are the only two columns that are highlighted right now. Then we're going to go up to Insert, Chart, and then we're going to change this chart type to a scatter plot. So we're going to scroll down until you see scatter, which is that first one here. We are going to unclick that middle box and click use column A as labels. So as you can see, it kind of has a sloped or a curved line here. And so if you want to see that a little bit better, we can add a line or a trend line. So we're going to go over to Customize, click on Series, and you're just going to scroll down a little bit until you see the word trend line. And we are going to change it from linear, since this isn't a linear graph. We're going to change that to a polynomial. And that gives you a more curved graph. So we're just going to click on our graph here and move it over. Next, we are going to make the scatter plot of the total pressure versus the inverse of volume. So we're going to click on column B, as we did in the first one, hold down the control key and click on column D. We're going to go back up to Insert, Chart. Again, we're going to change that chart type to scatter. We are going to unclick this middle box and click use column B as labels. And that gives you a really nice linear graph. And you can see that by adding a trend line. So going up to Customize, clicking on Series, scrolling down to trend line. And so now we have a really nice trend line here. So we're just going to move our graph a little bit. So if you want to see the slope of your trend line, we are going to scroll down or click on series, or stay clicked on series here. Scroll down past trend line, right here where it says label. We're going to click on that box and select use equation. So the slope equation is mx plus b, and so that's what you see here, where m is equal to 5.27 e to the negative 3. And so what this e is saying that it's the negative 3 is an exponent, or that is 10 to the negative third power. And that is how you create your scatter plots for your Boyle's Law lab.